Welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. Happy Sunday. Here are the rumors coming up on tap. Jalen Ramsey trade, which is a lot more real than I gave it credit for initially. That's on me. Justin Fields trade or the Bears for the number one overall pick. We'll break that down. New ESPN report. Updates on Derek Carr and Odell Bechkam, but let's begin with the juicy one. Jalen Ramsey appears to be on his way out of Los Angeles. NFL Network reports the Rams are having trade talks on Ramsey, and the expectation is he will be dealt in the coming week, which is significant. Now, we're going to break down more of the news on that front today. If you want some Jalen Ramsey trade destinations, make sure you guys are subscribed. My boy Mitchell Renz will have that for you tomorrow morning. That'll be early in the day, so make sure you're subscribed with those notifications turned on. Now, Ramsey should fetch a pretty good asking price. I think there has been some semblance of Ramsey regression, but we're talking about he's probably not the best corner in the NFL anymore, and now he's probably like the fifth best or seventh best or somewhere in that top 10 range. He's on the right side of 30. He's awesome at football. There should be a lot of interest, and it should fetch a fairly premium draft pick in exchange. Now, it is worth mentioning, currently, a new team would owe Ramsey 3 years, $55 million, not that much guaranteed. Mike Florio reports that it's likely Ramsey wants a new deal, and that starts to make more sense as to why the Rams are shopping him as opposed to saving $5.5 million in a draft pick, not the Rams' typical MO. But if he wants a new deal, you're going to pay him $20, $21, $22.5, whatever million dollars per year, then it starts to make more sense. For several NFL teams out there, again, we'll break down the full list tomorrow for you here at Chat Sports, I would be inclined to think that Ramsey's going to get $21, $22 million, and it's worth it. He's still a number one corner, and I would argue there's a distinct lack of NFL teams that have a plug-and-play, obvious number one corner. Hell, some of the names on this list, you might be able to argue aren't a number one corner, and I'll cheat and say, yeah, Byron Jones is in there since he's retiring / maybe not retiring, but is also super hurt, so he ain't going to be in Miami for much longer. The Ramsey trade has now surpassed Aaron Rodgers trade rumors as here we go again, and it might actually happen, unlike the Rodgers side, because that's always so back and forth. So prediction time at the pinned comment of today's video. Who will end up trading for Jalen Ramsey? If the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and get those Jalen Ramsey trade destination predictions in for me at the pinned comment of today's video. Let's hit the Bears and Justin Fields. New ESPN report says the Bears are probably going to keep Justin Fields and trade the number one overall pick instead. Here's what ESPN insider Jeremy Fowler reported on SportsCenter Sunday morning. Now, Justin Fields, different scenario because the Bears have the number one pick, and most teams I've talked to expect the Bears to keep Justin Fields. They say, look, this is a player who had kept them in games they had no business staying in last year. But if they have a high ranking on Bryce Young or one of these quarterbacks, they could certainly look into it. But the expectation is that they'd move out of the number one pick, but we'll see. I do think that the Bears end up keeping Fields because I'm unconvinced you could promise me one of those four quarterbacks becomes as good as Fields or that you pick the right one. I think there's a decent chance one of them is better, but you're talking, let's just say 50% chance. That's a big risk there when you can get a lot from moving down from the number one pick. And that's a great point raised by Fowler. Fields' passing numbers were okay, but the rushing numbers cannot be ignored. He was awesome on the ground. He was, frankly, one of the best running backs in the NFL. And he also happened to play quarterback, which makes it so valuable from that standpoint. If I were the Bears, I'm not trading Justin Fields. I'll move down from number one, get more assets, build my roster out, and see if Fields is truly my franchise guy. I think he's shown too much to say, you know what? We're going to bail on him after 2 years, and one of those years was Matt Nagy, and that barely counts. So I'm not trading him. I don't think the Bears trade him. But what do you say? Should Chicago shop Justin Fields and dump him? Why for yes and for no in the comment section. Today's show is sponsored by Cultivate, the free browser extension that brings transparency to your Amazon shopping experience. Cultivate shows you the brand, seller, or product origin and identifies local alternatives that support local community efforts while saving you money. Over 50% of Amazon U.S. sellers based in China Cultivate offers a way to avoid trickery from these sellers and keep money in the U.S. economy. Cultivate offers alternatives that are on average 30% less expensive than Amazon without any additional costs such as Amazon Prime. It can even identify local alternatives that you can pick up the same day. Cultivate users earn free donations as rewards for using the extension, and the more you use it, the more you earn in donations by increasing your level. In fact, Cultivate donates 51% of the revenue that they make on your purchase. So what are you waiting for? Go to wecultivate.us/chatsports and download Cultivate for free. Let Cultivate bring transparency, savings, and community support to your Amazon shopping journey. Support the show and download with our link. It's in the comments and the description of today's video. It's wecultivate.us/chatsports. More quarterback conversation, this time on Derek Carr. ESPN report from Diane Rossini is that Carr is aiming for $35 million and more per year on a new deal. So that's over $35 million. That would put him in a bit of a tier gap, I'll call it, in terms of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. The big guys, right? Rodgers, Wilson, Kyler, Deshaun, Mahomes are in the 45, and there's really nobody in the $35 to $40 million tier, which I suspect is what Derek Carr is aiming for. Now, he was in that $40-ish million a year tier on that old deal with the Raiders, but it was basically a one-year trial, and they had an easy out. They took the out, moved on from him. I'm curious what the market looks like for Carr, especially if Aaron Rodgers does not get traded. If Rodgers goes back to Green Bay, you're now looking at a scenario where it's the Jets are in the market, the Saints have been linked, other teams. The Panthers allegedly find Carr's number too high. I get that, it's fine. But could it seem like the Commanders? You could have seen like even the Giants don't want to pay Daniel Jones big money. Could one of those other quarterback-needy teams, Tampa maybe, they probably don't want to spend that much money there. Could they jump in and land a Derek Carr bidding war process there? Where does Jimmy Garoppolo go? That's kind of one of your other top free agents in the event Geno Smith and Daniel Jones get franchise tagged and or long-term extensions. So maybe it's just the Saints and Jets in that bidding war, but there will be interest in Carr, and how he manages the market is going to be impactful, not just from the per-year perspective, but what he gets guaranteed. It wasn't much guaranteed money in that Raiders deal. Bet on himself to an extent. In the end, did not pay off for him. So prediction time. Where do you think Derek Carr ends up playing in 2023? I think we'll see a lot of Jets and a lot of Saints answers, but this is a true open-ended question. So go down in the comments, let me know, and predict where will Derek Carr play this upcoming NFL season. Could it be a reunion for Odell Beckham and the Giants? Report out of New York is the Giants are likely to resume their Odell Beckham Jr. pursuit in NFL free agency. Of course, OBJ had his best years with the Giants. Then he got paid and then got traded and then wasn't as good in Cleveland and then got hurt a couple times. And the injuries have been a very real problem for Odell Beckham in terms of just what's been going on in his career. A lot of uncertainty about which version of Odell Beckham are you getting. Are you getting the one who wasn't good for the Browns that much? He kind of wasn't the same player, guy who got hurt again? Are you getting peak Giants Odell? Probably not. Are you getting something in the middle, something more resembling that final stretch with LA where he really got going before that unfortunate torn ACL in the Super Bowl? And how much money does Odell want? The receiver market's not very good. He might be one of the better free agent wide receivers this year, but teams are hesitant to give him big money when he missed an entire year due to that knee injury. We'll spend some more time on this and some of the teams in the mix. But who will end up signing Odell Beckham in NFL free agency? Is it a team like the Giants? Is it somebody else? Maybe even a dark horse contender? Head down to the comment section and get those predictions in. Now remember, on his initial free agency tour, the teams Odell actually visited, remember, he went to games like the Saints, etc. Those don't really count. Later on, after Thanksgiving, he visited the Cowboys, Giants, and the Buffalo Bills, and eventually it came out that knee was not ready. And Odell was not prepared to play football games. And Odell said he didn't want to play in the regular season. That turned some people off, I think, within NFL teams as well, organizations, I should say. There will be Odell Beckham interest. These three teams are all still prime fits. They have a need at wide receiver. They had interest last time. The Bills just hired Adam Henry as their wide receivers coach, who has coached Odell before. Three prime contenders. I'm very curious what the market ends up looking like, though, for Odell Beckham.